Call the meeting to order.
Commissioner Mullins.
Aye.
Commissioner Wilkinson.
Present.
Commissioner Gallaher.
Here.
Quorum's present.
As you wish, please stand for the pledge and the invocation.
Jesus, to the flag of the United States of America,
And to the republic for
which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father, we thank you for a day without rain today. Thank you for the sunshine. Be with us today as we act on the county's business. Give us wisdom, give us peace that we're doing the right thing for our county residents. Thank you so much for all that you are. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Our consent agenda today is only the minutes of last week's minutes. I second. All in favor? Aye. There are no table agenda. Moving right along. We have a request for support for the reference in the grant procurement from the USDA. And a letter, it's just a very simple letter. On our letterhead, please be advised that the St. Francois County Commission is very supportive of your efforts in obtaining grant revenues from USDA Rural Development for the purpose of rehabbing homes of low-income families in our county. So, do I have a motion?
I would be glad to I'd make that motion that we approve the support to East Missouri Action Agency, who is the agency that funnels the money through these programs.
And I'd second his motion.
And comment, this is addressed to Bill Tucker of the East Missouri Action Agency. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Thank you. Next item, back to school backpack fair. VFW Post in Leadington is hosting this year. It's going to be held at MAC, and it's for, if you're not familiar with the backpack program, it's a wonderful program. Kids are given a backpack, and it's very frequently filled with foodstuffs and school supplies and things those kids need at home. So it's a very beneficial program, and it will be held with that schedule, and they would welcome school donations, school item donations, and monetary donations. So we just wanted to publicize that. Those ladies were here last week, but they weren't on the agenda, so I decided to put that on this week. Independent audit report, Jamie Barr is going to talk to us. And start with your name, please.
Hi, I'm Jamie Barr with Daniel Jones and Associates. And the audit report that we've issued that you should have in front of you, it was prepared on the modified cash basis of accounting, and we issued an unmodified opinion. As you'll see on page 3 and 4, we'll start with your statement of financial position, statement of net position. The county does have total assets of a little over $13.4 million, and the net position is $13.4 million, with $6.6 million of that being unrestricted. We noted on page 42 one state finding, and that was due to the law enforcement sales tax fund actual expenditures exceeding those budgeted. The two findings that we did note at the back of the audit report on page 45 and 46 is due to lack of documentation of internal controls and lack of documentation of anti-fraud programs. Do you have any questions?
Yes, on the fraud program, we have software, we have policy, we have all kinds of procedures that we go through for people doing stuff. What better thing can we do on a statement of fraud control, or fraud risk control?
Do you actually have it like a detailed documented government-wide and also within each office would be best?
So basically describing what we do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we just need that document form.
And addressing what risks could be within that office. Like for instance, if an office collects cash, you have a risk of, theft of cash, and what procedures you put in place to mitigate that risk.
Okay, very good. We did it. And is that in process?
Do I need to go to the microphone?
It'd probably be best so we could just hear.
Sure.
I know you're unfamiliar with microphone.
Jamie's done. All right, we can dismiss.
Cyril, the County Auditor. Want to address the situation of the findings. We know that those findings actually go back to 2015, 16, 17, 18, of which the commissioners are well aware of. The recommendations by the outside auditor, Daniel Jones, was also noted last year by the county offices to prepare these documentations. The commission initially responded to the recommendations, but determined that the county auditor was to pursue, or best suited to pursue it. We immediately began working on these with all the county offices, and I know some of the county offices are shaking their head going, yeah, we had to sit down and we had to go through all of the process to get there, addressing the internal controls and for the anti-fraud policies. Because of continual recommendations by outside resources, this has been an ongoing and continuous process throughout the year. We started this immediately when Daniel Jones presented this audit last year, and the information will need further assessment on a one-on-one basis with the county office holders. Now, this office has been assessing those documents that we've received, and at the same time trying to maintain the daily activities that we're supposed to be doing day in and day out, with also assisting outside entities and those with special requests and inquiries. So we're trying to balance all of this at the same time. We are not making excuses for continuing this process. We're just saying that it is an ongoing process. We're striving to complete this by the end of this year, and we are confident by this time next year there won't be any findings concerning this, Jamie. So, otherwise, no material weaknesses were noted in the financial reports. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And we want to thank Daniel Jones for their continual assistance in not only doing the audit, but assisting us with better preparations for the next audit. By the way, this audit, Dan, will be uploaded to the website in just a few moments, so the public has access to all of that.
Question, I read it, and the question I had is that the auditor was not questioning whether we had procedures, it's that they have to be documented. Is that correct? Because you interviewed me when I came in about how cash and things were handled, and that's what you said, that we have to document all of our.
Exactly right. And all of the fee offices that handle cash, you handle how much in an average month?
Average month, $30.
Yes. So recorder of deeds, approximately a little more than that, but in Pam's office as well.
But one of the things on your recommendation, we went to eliminating the one fund so that we don't have to make, so that
Correct.
it's done, and so that we don't have to, yeah.
Under standard procedures we have now.
Yeah,
Because we'd like to get out of the cash business if possible.
absolutely.
Even though the charges you were only $3, whatever, it'd be nice if we got completely out of the cash business and only the treasurer handled those.
Exactly.
We don't even make deposits anymore, we give them to her.
Yeah. So we're doing this, it's just that we don't have it in the document, the printed form that the auditors would like to see.
So we need to document, and then we get it, right?
Yeah.
I would entertain a motion to accept the audit report and second, and then we'll go into questions about this.
I'll move that we accept the outside auditor's report.
And I would second the motion.
Okay, now, are there any questions? Anybody, any comments, any questions? Okay, a motion and second to accept the audit report, thank you, ma'am. And, all in favor, aye? Aye. Aye, thank you so much, and we appreciate your efforts. The next item will be a discussion of possible donation of land to the county. I believe our collector is going to be talking to us.
Yes, this is on Pamela Williams, collector. This is on regard to Margaret Warden. She's disabled, so she's unable to be here. She asked me to ask the commission if they would accept some property that she has. It's 2 parcels in Joe Run, and she wants to donate it. There's no buildings on it any longer, and it's hindering her from receiving so she's asking if the county would take it.
Okay. We will need to know if there's any liens, encumbrances, restrictions, all that stuff on it before we can take it.
Okay, well, you would have to have a title search.
Yes.
She cannot afford these
I
taxes.
understand that.
One of them has already been up for tax sale and it's sold, but the people did not go through and finish their paperwork that they needed. The other one is going up for sale this year.
Okay.
So if the county would like to do it and accept this, there's that option, or there's also the option of to the trustee of the county, which she gets our sales, our tax sale property that we don't sell. So that might be an option, you might wanna get legal
We
opinion.
understand that, and we appreciate it. To the recorder's office, do you guys ever do title searches like for the county? You don't do those?
We don't,
Okay.
everything has to go through
I
title.
wouldn't consider it for, okay.
We can't be insured.
Okay, I understand, okay. Yes,
One of the things we may want to consider before we start taking it in, and it is to see if there's any charitable organizations in the area that have attorneys and things, the recommendation that could do the background search, and we're talking about a lot, so the value, once you take away the tax of the road, it's not significant, but it may be significant for the pet adoption center or pregnancy resource center or
some nonprofit
that already has this process in place to get habitat, of accepting habitat, may be able to build on it. So that may be something that we may wanna pursue, because I don't know if we really wanna be in this business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and we don't know if there's not graves on the property, we don't know that yet.
Right, but it may have a real good purpose for Habitat for Humanity, or I know a piece of property was just donated to the SEMO Family Violence Council, or the Battered Women's Shelter in Bater. All of them pick these things, and they have people that, on their boards, that do the due diligence to make sure it's got more value than what the gift is, but.
Pam, what is the deadline on this decision?
Well, she's wanting something done right away so that she can start getting benefits. However, as far as the tax sale's not until August, the end of August.
So we have a few weeks to look at this. I know she's in a hurry, but it's not an immediate thing. Now, if we table that, it automatically comes up next week, is that correct?
Well, do we have to table it? I mean, I'd like to make a motion that we review the request or the offer, and then take it under consideration and come back at another time, or just.
You can do that. You can make the recommendation to further review and seek other possible methods of disposing of the property.
Okay.
That doesn't necessarily mean it's tabled till next agenda.
No.
Next week, okay.
That would put it off.
So you have a
I
motion?
motion that we take it under consideration and act on it at a later date.
Okay, second. Any questions?
What was this person's name?
Margaret Warden.
Yeah, I got that.
Warden.
Yes, she lives in, her residence is from Park Hills.
Okay. All right, any other questions? All in favor of this motion, say aye. Aye, thank you. Thank you, Pam. Okay, I'd like to get authority to advertise our property at 711 Maple Street, that's the old road and bridge property, for sale. Be done by sealed bids, and that sign that you see there on the lower right will probably be put on the property pretty soon, assuming we get this authority.
I would move that we allow the commission to pursue the sealed bid process for the sale of Maple Street property.
And I'd second that motion.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Aye. Okay, we have, next regular meeting will be Monday, new term. By law, we must meet on the first Monday of each quarter. So that will be the meeting for next week. There we go. Other business that may arise, correspondence, anybody? Public comments? Anybody? Departmental reports? Yes, Dan?
I'll be brief. There was some discussion last week with a gentleman over his values. I met with him afterwards, went to his property. He showed me what he wanted to appeal his values, and we came to an agreement. I just wanted to let you know because it was brought before the commission last time. I asked him if he wanted to come back, and he said not at this time.
Thank you. Any other departmental reports?
Yeah, I've got a couple things.
Yeah.
One, the new terms and all the meeting dates until the end of the year will be put on the website, so that people can see the date, time, what you just addressed. Lauren is working on, wording for the, indigent, for your burials, that, for a policy that you should be able to be acted on next week, on that, so that it doesn't commit us to guaranteeing that money will come, but it commits that if they meet the criteria, that we will apply that way, not every time that you have to act on it individually. Okay? On the Board of Equalization, we, I want to at this time thank Linda, her and Rhonda, Teresa. We've had to bring people over from the elections, like Sue. They've taken over 500 calls last week. The vast majority were related to this, but we've also got other stuff going on with the renewing liquor licenses is this week, and so we've had a lot of, we have just under 200 appointments set up for the Board of Equalization. The past has been quite a bit less. I'd like to address a couple things that are on the internet. Somebody's been putting on, well, don't call the assessor, go straight to and make an appointment. That's not the way it's done. The assessors people have been working diligently to try to, what's your process called when it's informal negotiations. So if they've got a chance of negotiating with the assessor, we should do that before we set up a formal meeting, because a lot of them we've been taking off. We actually took several off this morning that people have been satisfied with the results of the informal, because as I'm sure Dan will tell you, when they do the whole assessment, even though I've said all the time that we're in charge of assessments, we have nothing, our office has nothing to do with assessments. But our ladies have had to put up with mad people because we're doing this to them. Our job is to set up the Board of Equalization and to take the minutes. My point is, if you've still got 4 days here, check with the assessor if you would like an informal sit down and try to work something out. Because as you've assessed all these areas, some things you have some outliers when you do thousands of things. Then, if there's no satisfaction, call us. We still have times available, which we've been telling the people the process of what you have to do. And then, by law, this has to be done by the end of July. I know people have been making suggestions that you know, you should do this. We have to follow the actual law. And I don't know why these people are putting misinformation out there, but they are, and so we're dealing with it. I didn't know when we work here that all the public officials is redacted, the state reps and state senators, their information. So people have been trying to kick, because they say I'm not paying taxes. I've put that on the internet. They're welcome to my copy anytime of ours, because I pay my taxes. It went up again. So the other thing is there's a YouTube video showing a building downtown here, wondering why I'm not paying taxes. I'm here today to say I'm sorry, I'm not. I don't own the building, so I chose not to pay taxes on it. I haven't owned it in a decade, but it's real good that, of course, the person won't come on publicly and say who he is. Then he shows people how to get to my house and the fact that it's not being assessed properly. So we've put those out. So anybody wants to come down can see what my house is assessed at.
Yeah, but I just want to add additional, because we're getting to the deadline. I'm starting to see some large renters that have some issues with the rental property. So I'm advising them to go ahead and set an appointment in order, just in case we can't resolve it. We probably will resolve the issue, but we want to make sure their name is on the list so they don't miss an appointment and have an issue where they didn't make it.
And there is a process that if they're not satisfied with the Board of Equalization, to go to the state board. That's why we have to do this in a timely manner. And if you go to the state board and they have not, to your point, have not followed the process, they will be less sympathetic if you've not. So we're asking them to get on, get before them, even if you disagree. And I want to thank the assessor for making sure my property was assessed very high. for the last 10 years. I've never thanked you for that, so that it didn't only had to go up 10%. But I appreciate that. Thanks. Anything else?
I would like to say I didn't post that YouTube video. I did post your assessment, Kevin. There was a lot of people that were asking, and thank you for providing that.
Happens.
So.
But I just thought that it's still up there on YouTube because my wife happened to see it yesterday and she was very pleased.
I would like to know who
It's probably
actually
better that
made
the
it as
person
well.
Remained anonymous because I wouldn't fear me as much as I would fear her.
That's why you heard it.
Any other comments on questions on this topic? Okay, any other departmental reports? Okay, I want to comment about the drug court moving and the fact that it opened up 2 spaces in the courthouse. And that is the finished look at our new conference room over there. And there has been a real need for attorneys to have a private place to talk to their clients. And now we have that, and or others, law meetings, whatever. So we thank Kathleen Aubuchon, an attorney here, for donating those items you see in the picture.
And our county maintenance department did that.
Yes, and the other office that was became available because of this move, is now a children's room. And kids are often required to spend a lot of hours in the courthouse. And this gives them this quiet place instead of out in the hallway and you're trying to keep them quiet and all that. It's been a problem. And kids need the place to be on their own. So we appreciate this work, and again, to the maintenance department, they put down the floor, they painted, they did the decoration, they did a great job. We appreciate it.
Move to adjourn.
I'll second.
And I didn't ask any other departmental reports. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.